Hello everyone, this is Mike, YouTube's resident gun nut. When it comes to pistols in the military and law enforcement markets, Glock is the top dog. Or should I say top gun? Oh, sorry. Couldn't resist. Anyway, Glocks are generally well regarded for their reliability and durability, and most people love them for the huge selection of aftermarket accessories available to them. But, while they are some of the best-selling pistols on the civilian self-defense market, there have been rumors circulating online that people are ditching their Glocks. In this video, I'm gonna break down the top 6 reasons why people are giving Glock the old heave-ho. And hey, whether you think these reasons are legit or not, drop a comment below and let me know. Number 6. No manual safety. So, we all know that Gaston designed Glock pistols to be safer than a baby in a bubble, thanks to their trigger blade safety. But let's be real, these guns were meant for tough military folks who have the skills and training to handle them. It's like giving a race car to your grandma who's never driven before and expecting her to win the Indy 500. Not gonna happen. Now, if you hand a loaded Glock to someone who has never touched a gun before, you might as well be giving them a ticking time bomb. It's not the gun's fault, of course. It's like blaming a knife for cutting yourself when you don't know how to chop veggies. But hey, maybe Gaston could take a page out of Smith & Wesson's book and add a manual safety to some of his pistols like the M&P Shield. I mean, how hard could it be, right? It's not rocket science, Gaston. Number 5. The reverse bandwagon effect. Ah, yes, the ubiquitous Glock. It's like the pumpkin spice latte of the gun world. Everywhere you look, there it is. But let's be real, some of us are a little too cool for school. We're not interested in jumping on the Glock bandwagon like all the other sheep. In social psychology terms, we're experiencing the reverse bandwagon effect. It's like when everyone's wearing skinny jeans and you refuse to conform and stick with your flared jeans from 2003. They're coming back, I swear. I'm no psychology expert, I'm just a humble gun nut. But I think it's safe to say that there are some of us who don't want to follow the herd. We don't want to be just another Glock in the crowd. We want to stand out, like a flamingo in a flock of pigeons. Number 4. Gen 3's expired patent. It looks like Glock's Gen 3 has officially become an old-timer. Its patent, which was like the gold ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, expired in 2018 after a 20-year run. That means it's open season for anyone who wants to make a clone of the Gen 3, like a bunch of musical covers of the same old song. Of course, these clones cannot be exact copies of Glocks. They have to add their own little spice to the mix, like when you're making ramen noodles and you toss in some sriracha to make it fancy. If they look too much like Glocks, their manufacturers can get smacked with a lawsuit for trade dress infringement. But the real beauty of it all is that since the Gen 3 patent has kicked the bucket, anyone can copy all the mechanical details inside the pistol and not worry about getting sued. And let's be real. The clones these days are offering all sorts of goodies that Glock can only dream of. There's Bull Armory's Act Series, Polymer 80's PFC-9 and PFS-9, Shadow Systems' War Poet Series, Palmetto State Armory's Dagger, Zev Technologies' OZ-9 Series, Rock Island Armory's SDK-100, etc. It's like a big family reunion of cousins who are all better looking than the eldest sibling. Some are more affordable and just as good as the Glock Gen 3, while others are like the fancy cousin who went to college and now has a big boy job in a sports car. So, sorry, Glock Gen 3, but it's time for you to move over and let the cool kids take over. Number 3. Mushy trigger. Ah, the good old Glock trigger. It's mushy. It's meh. But hey, at least it'll fire every time you need it to. That is, if you're not using some sketchy ammo you found in the bargain bin at your local gun show. Being just adequate isn't enough in today's world. I mean, back in the day, when Glock was the only option, it was like being the only guy in a bar full of thirsty ladies. But now, it's like being the only guy in a bar full of thirsty ladies, but you've got no game, no moves, and no style. Enter the Walther PDP Compact, one of the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS's sleeker and sexier competitors. Sure, both have a 15-round mag capacity and both are optics ready. But the Walther PDP's trigger is the real star of the show. It's smoother than a baby's bottom, lighter than a feather, and has a reset so short you'd think you were in the Matrix. But of course, all this luxury comes at a price. The Walther PDP Compact has an MSRP of $700, while the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS locks in at a modest $620. That's an $80 difference, folks. You get what you pay for, right? And in this case, you're paying for a trigger that'll make you feel like a gun-slinging ninja, rather than just another average Joe with a mushy Glock trigger. Number 2. Plastic sights. Glock, oh Glock, what happened to your plastic sights? They're getting some serious side-eye from the gun enthusiasts. Don't get me wrong, nobody's actually using factory sights in close-quarters combat. That's why we've got instinctive shooting drills to teach us to focus on pulling the trigger without waving the gun around, instead of relying on the sights. But when we do need to use them, the plastic sights work well enough. We're just a little skeptical about the material. It's like, hey, Glock, we paid good money for your pistols. Can't you throw in some steel sights? Nowadays, there are so many polymer-framed pistols on the market that are more competitively priced and come with steel sights out of the box. It's like, why should we settle for plastic sights when we can have the real deal? Take the Canik Mete SFT, for instance. It's one of the Glock 17's younger cousins with similar features and dimensions. It's even optics ready, just like the Gen 5 MOS version of the Glock 17. The only real difference on the surface is the ammo capacity, with the Canik Mete SFT boasting an 18 or 20 round mag included in the box, while the Glock 17 Gen 5 MOS only has two 17 round mags. But the kicker? The Canik Mete SFT comes with steel sights and a low $520 MSRP, while the Glock 17 Gen 5 MOS has plastic sights and a $620 MSRP. That's a $100 difference for a pair of sights that aren't even made of metal. It's enough to make you scratch your head and wonder if Glock's been hitting the plastic too hard. Number 1. Gaston's complacency. Well, if it isn't our old friend Gaston. His company's boasting about its so-called variety of pistols. Evidently, it has over 50 models to choose from. But let's be real, they're all pretty much the same, just with different dimensions, calibers, and prices. I mean, come on Glock, where's the pizzazz? Spice things up a bit. And don't even get me started on their lack of innovation. Surely, they made some slight improvements over the course of 5 generations, but it took them decades to do so. Meanwhile, the world moved on and left them in the dust. Sorry, Glock, but if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. Let's talk about modularity, or lack thereof, in Glock's pistols. While they used to be the only modular handguns on the market, they've since been left in the dust by the likes of SIG with their P250, P320, and P365 models. These beauties don't just allow for caliber conversions, they also allow for size conversions. With a SIG fire control unit, you can practically build any handgun you want. Meanwhile, Glock's idea of modularity is simply allowing for caliber conversions between pistols with similar-sized frames and magazines. Boring. In conclusion, Glock needs to step up their game and start innovating like the rest of the gun industry. Otherwise, they'll be left behind in a cloud of SIG smoke. And there you have it, folks. It's time to say goodbye. If you happen to have returned your Glock for a reason other than the ones on my list, or if you just can't stand those Glocks for any reason at all, let me know in the comments below. And hey, while you're down there, why not give that like button a little tap, share this video with your fellow gun enthusiasts, and of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my fantastic new content. Thanks for tuning in.